Hi again, Andy. Phase 2 of the session was to improve your position at the top of the backswing. One of the things you've been working hard on trying to improve was what the right elbow was doing throughout the backswing, really. But from your point of view, it was where it was at the top. So what we're seeing here was, first of all, a setup change was required. We were very much forward with that right shoulder, and what we needed to do was just drop that right shoulder back a little bit. So one of the ways we did that was to apply some pressure to the underside of the right bicep, and the other way we did that was to spend some time with the right foot drawn back and the shoulder drawn back at setup. So again, you know, right shoulder back. If you're playing golf with Mark, I fully expect to hear him say shoulder back a lot to you over the coming months. What that produced was a slight change towards the end of your session where you're not quite as far out in front with that right shoulder. It's not a massive change, it's just a little change, but it does make it easier for that right elbow and that right arm to work differently on the way back. So what we were seeing at the start of the session was a right elbow that would work quite straight early in the piece. So there wouldn't be a great deal of, I'm just going to zoom this in a little bit for you. There wouldn't be a great deal of folding or bending of the right elbow early in the swing, and then it would really start to sort of shoot behind you at this point and head out in this direction. Start to pull. See that right elbow pulling behind you. Elbows starting to divide. It gets to a point where the left arm now starts to bend a little bit as well. And when we get to the top of the backswing, we've got this sort of short position where the club face is a little bit hooded. More importantly, the elbow's flying out in this direction. And from there you can make any number of transitions. Some players come down very steep and out in front of them, a little bit like with yourself. Other players would drop that right elbow underneath, and that's something I've suffered from in the past, and sort of relocate the right elbow to where it should be, and that would cause the club to drop under, get stuck underneath, and result in a lot of pushes and hooks. See the arm straightening quickly there. So that right elbow poking out a lot at the top. Here we have the right foot drawn back. We have the pressure under the right arm, on the underside of the right arm. And what we start to get now is a little bit more of a sort of gradual folding of the right arm during the backswing. It doesn't shoot out behind us quite as much. We just missed the club head on that one, but it's not as shut. You can see the right elbow now is in a much better condition at the top of the backswing, so that the shaft now can shallow as it comes down, rather than steepening too much as it comes down. So again, much better look to it by doing what we call the bowling drill, where the right foot's drawn back and the right shoulder's drawn back. So that's you doing the drills, and then obviously one of your main concerns in the past has been your ability to take the drill out onto the golf course in the real world. So here we are at the bottom on the left with the feeling of pulling the right shoulder back. Just take you back a frame or two, you see that it actually does go further back than that on occasion. So there you pull the shoulder back. Now we're talking with that position. And then just the shoulder just sort of drifts forward again before you start your swing. But it's in a different position than it was, and that in turn is allowing that right arm to work a little bit differently. Starting to fold a little bit sooner, rather than what we saw at the start of your session, which was staying straight for a very long time and then popping up. Now we're seeing a slightly different position. We're trying to keep the pressure on the underside of the right arm as well, and that's resulting in a position now at the top that has the club face in a more neutral position, and also has the elbow and forearm in a much better position to start the downswing with a slight shallowing of the shaft as opposed to quite a severe straightening of the right arm in the downswing and a steepening of the shaft. You've got some great images sent across to you of the changes that you've made, but I think those two swings there in relation to the right elbow at the top are a great comparison. And if we zoom this out, and this is not something we talked about on the day really, we pointed out that it was happening towards the end of your session, but as your ability to work the arms better has improved and position the arms in a more appropriate position at the top, look how much better the leg action is as well. Much more flexing of the left knee, hips are working on a different angle, shoulders are working on a different angle, the butt of the club has been propelled further. So all in all, you've got a few things in there for free as well by altering that right shoulder and repositioning that right arm at the top. Good luck with it. It was great working with you. And as I said, if you have any questions or you want to fire a little bit of footage across in the weeks between now and when we meet up next, feel free to do so. Good luck.